Hello students, welcome again. And as you know that we are doing John Keats' poem To Autumn, and this is the third in the series of the uh, lectures. So today we'll do the third stanza, and in the poem actually we have studied the first stanza which describes the season of autumn, the flowers and the fruits. And in the second stanza, we saw how autumn is personified. And in the third, actually, there is a comparison of autumn with other seasons. So let's read the third stanza. Where are the songs of the spring? Hey, where are they? Think not of them. Thou hast thy music too. While barred clouds bloom the soft dying day and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue, then in a wailful choir the small gnats mourn among the river shallows, borne aloft or sinking as the light wind lives or dies, and full grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne, hedge crickets sing, and now the treble soft, the red breast whistles from a garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies. So, here in this stanza, we see that there is a comparison of autumn with other seasons, especially with spring. Where are the songs of spring? Hey, where are they? So, there is a comparison. So, he's asking that where are the songs of the spring? That spring season is well known for its melodious songs which are sung by nightingale and cuckoo. But he is saying, where are the songs of the spring? He says, don't you think about them. So, where are they? Don't think of them. Think not of them. Thou hast thy music too. He's saying that why do you want that same music of the springtime in autumn? Autumn has its own music. So, do not think of the joyous songs and the charms of the spring season, which birds sing rapturously and joyously among the woods. So, autumn also has its own songs and they have their own beauty and charm. So, autumn, like spring, has its own music. He's saying, while barred clouds bloom the soft dying day, barred clouds is when the patches of the clouds lend a very peculiar glow to the sunset or peculiar hue to the sunset, the color to the sunset. And rosy hue is color, rosy is very pinkish color. So then in a wailful choir the small gnats mourn among the river shallows. So he's saying that they the nets they mourn, that is the small nets they produced a wailing sound. So what are the nets? Nets होते हैं झिंगुर, झिंगुर अपने यहाँ भी होते हैं. So he's saying that these nets they produce a wailing sound and among the river shallows. Now shallows are the bushes which grow in marshy grounds or beds of the rivers. So here when these uh, gnats, that is jhingur, when they are singing they are making noise. You must have heard the noise of gnats. So the noise sometimes it is uh, sharper and shriller, and sometimes it is low. So that is the sound of the gnats. It is either they are born aloft. So sometimes the sound is carried far away, and sometimes it moves according to the movement of the wind. So either it is borne aloft or it sinks, or sinking as the light wind lives or dies. So the movement of the sound of the nets is according to the flow of the wind. And full grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. So these full grown lambs, like during the springtime, these lambs are very small, but now these lambs have grown big and they bleat, they sound which is produced by the lambs. Full grown lambs loud bleat from the hilly bourns, and hedge crickets sing. The hedge crickets, the crickets which are inside the hedge, they also sing. And now with treble soft, the red breast whistles from a garden croft. Now, this is hedge crickets are like grasshoppers, and treble soft is a very soft shrill note which is produced by the red breast. Red breast is that of a robin bird. Now, croft is from a garden croft. Croft is a small piece of enclosed land adjoining a dwelling house. So, it is a garden enclosure. So, in the garden, the redbreast, that is robin, the bird robin, it whistles, and gathering swallows twitter in the sky. Now it is the evening time. Now in this stanza, we see this is the closing stanza, and we see that it is the evening time, and all the swallows which have gone out, they are gathering again, and they twitter in the skies while they are gathering. So in this concluding stanza, the poet says that autumn is not devoid of songs. Autumn is not devoid of its music. It has its own music. As the spring is full of sweet songs, in the same way, there are sweet songs to be heard in autumn too. The songs of autumn are so sweet. The songs of autumn are introduced in the scene of sunset glory. Now, if we see that this is the evening time and this is the sunset time. So, the sunset, it illuminates the earth as well as the sky, and it touches the stubble plains with a rosy hue. And the gnats are swarming, and then they are varying with the force of the breeze. Sometimes the breeze lives or dies, so the music also lives and dies along with the breeze. And the insects themselves, they rise and fall in the air, and the familiar bleating of the full grown lambs on the hilly bourns, and the chirping songs of the grasshoppers and whistling treble of the red breast, finally the twittering of the swallows appear as delightful and sweet as the songs of the springtime. So we see that there is music in autumn season also. So while the soft dying, wailful, and mourn indicate a warning time, the end of autumn, the end of any season indicates change. Since this is the natural state of the things, the melancholia is joined with a sense of joy. Like even in we have read in P.B. Shelley's, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" Similarly, when autumn is ending, winter will come. This is a cycle. This is a cycle of the seasons which keep going. So there is also hope. There is no mourning in Keats' poem. He is in the mood of celebration. Even though Keats, that is the speaker, mourned the end of autumn, he celebrated its sights, smells, and sounds for what they are. As the first stanza symbolized morning, the second stanza signaled midday, and the final stanza is signifying evening or the night time with the phrase soft dying day. The completion of autumn is analogous to the completion of a day, the natural progression of things. So, here the cycle is completed. There's a morning, noon, and evening. That's evening or late evening, or it is night time, which is shown that with the phrase gathering swallows. Swallows always fly in flocks, so they are gathering to migrate to the warmer climates, and the departure shows that winter is coming. So here the cycle of seasons is moving. So I hope you have understood this poem. And now let's just recap a bit. So we have studied in this poem that autumn is a season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, and it is a time of the year when the sky is clear and the sun is shining brightly. And during this season, fruits and flowers ripen and present a lovely spectacle to the eyes. The vines are laden with grapes, and the moss covered trees of the cottage gardens they bend low because of the load of the apples. And autumn also plumps the gourd and the hazelnuts, and they enrich themselves, hazelnuts, they enrich themselves with the rich kernel. And the flowers, the late flowers, blossom in all their loveliness and present to the bees a kind of a season which the bees start thinking that the summer is not going to end, and they go on collecting honey in their sticky hives. So this shows that so rich is the harvest of flowers in the sunny days of autumn that bees feel that there is perpetual presence of summer, and the summer is not going to end. And then in the second stanza, autumn is personified with these seasons, and especially the activities during the autumn season are described or personified. That here autumn is personified as the farmer sitting carefree without worries in the minds, and he is just sitting in the granary floor, and his hair is lifted softly by the winnowing wind. And then second picture is that of the reaper who has fallen asleep among the furrows with scythe in their hands, which are induced to sleep by the fragrance or the fumes of poppy, which is very intoxicating. Then the next picture is that of the gleaner of corn, who are seen crossing the brook or fording the streams with sheaves of corn on their heads. And lastly, the farmer gathers round the cider press and watches the oozings of the apple, extraction of apple juice from these machines. So these are very familiar sights of autumn. And in the third or the concluding stanza, the richness of the autumn is shown in the sky at the time of the sunset. The clouds are colored by the rosy hue, and the land aglow to the sunset and cast a colorful looks on the plains from which corn has been reaped, and there are stubbles on the field. And after the sunset, we can also hear the music of autumn, that is, music of the gnats mourning the departing sun. And from the hilly region comes the bleatings of the lambs in their joyfulness. And the robin bird, that is a red-breast robin bird, it also whistles joyfully from the garden croft. And the swallows, they also flock together to migrate to the warmer countries at the approach of winter. So all these are the sights which give joy to the people in autumn. And our enjoyment of autumn is not tinged with regret for the spring season, because here John Keats, he is enjoying the sights. He is not mourning. He is not melancholic about the passing of summer and autumn, or you can say not mourning the approach of winter, but he is enjoying the autumn. So this autumn is a very lively autumn. It gives the picture of a very lively autumn. And so enjoyment of autumn is not tinged with any regret that spring is gone, but rather touched by no prophetic thoughts of the spring to come, but he is enjoying the autumn as it is. The ripeness, the richness of autumn is appreciated by John Keats in this poem. So I hope you have understood this poem, and this is all for now. Thanks for watching.